tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain. But before we go, let's dream. But before we go, let's dream. But before we go, let's dream. One more ale.
From the depths of the dungeons to the tavern brawls, save the king, killed a giant. We've been through it all. I could fill up a tome, but you're not coming home. Well, we all saw it happen. We're the ones you saved. Gonna light you a candle. Gonna tell your tale by the light of the moon. We'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. On that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Our adventures together went to hell and back. Spent the day slaying dragons and escaping traps, but massive damage is done. Now you're really gone. But we'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. On that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? We'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane?
I see. So you just kill your characters. Okay. Hello, hey, hi team. Welcome to Office Hours. Excited to have you all here. Let's dive into it. Oh my goodness. I hope you're all having a fantastic week. Happy Friday. I hope you have a bunch of amazing games planned for the weekend, whether that be with Powered Meal, with Roll20Con, One Shot Wonder. There's so much happening over this week. Let's see. Let me go ahead and pull up my notes, and we can go ahead and just kick off office hours. Now, there's not a lot that's changed from last week to this week. We're still working on a lot of the same stuff. Let's see. Let's talk showing full games. So we went to do we're running an experiment right now where we show full games on the Game Master's profile. We wanted to see if this would lead to maybe players favoriting those games, to maybe join when there's an opening, maybe seeing that this GM has a bunch of games and they definitely should book in them. What we're seeing right now, though, is a decline in actual purchases. So when people are in the experiment where there is a GM profile page that has full games shown on it, we're seeing less purchases and less signups. Now, why are we measuring signups? Because we're only showing this experiment to new users, and that allows us to get a really unbiased view of things. Low signups also means that they are not favoriting these games. If we had a high signup but like a low purchase, then we'd probably say, okay, a lot of people are signing up to be notified. But we're seeing not only signups going down, but we're also seeing purchases go down in the test. Now, we haven't reached statistical significance with this test yet, but we haven't seen it move into the positive yet. We're gonna let it run until the end of the weekend, and then we're gonna make a decision. So that is an update on our first test. We have some others. Let's see, what other tests are we running right now? We have 13 tests currently running. So we're running a GM language filter, GM identity filter, exclude game system filter, seats left filter, a game style filter, character level filter, and combined date filter. So we have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 game search filter tests running right now. They don't have enough data, so we still have to wait probably another week or so. We also ran a test on the GM. Pull this back up. There you all are. We also ran a test on the GM profile page that displayed book custom game or book private game instead of request booking, to see if that made things more clear, because we've had some users who've clicked request booking and they think that that's just how you book in a game with that GM, rather than like, no, this is actually how you book a custom game with that GM. We are seeing an uptick in clicks to that, but we weren't seeing an uptick in purchases. We're gonna monitor that because it's a little confusing. We're seeing less custom purchases. Well, it's purchases overall, not custom purchases. We're seeing less purchases. So we're gonna wait to see what happens with that. Let's see, what else do we have in tests running that we should talk about? The homepage, watch list. Watch list test is doing really well. Right now it shows like about a 5% increase in purchases with the watch list experience. This is where players can click on a game to save it, so they can essentially add it to a watch list. They can be notified about when this game goes from pending to active. They can be notified when a new player joins, when a player leaves a game that's full. So these are cool. Well, we saw kind of a dip when we launched it, but as time has gone on, it's continued to do well. We think that's because it has a lagging indicator. What I mean by lagging indicator is you won't see results with new users right away. They might be saving a game and coming back a week, 2, 3 weeks later. So we're gonna let it run probably another week, and then we're gonna stop it, and we're gonna let maybe 2 or 3 weeks of data collect from everyone who was in that test to see what happens with them 2 to 3 weeks later. 28 days is kind of like the best historical look back view that we can apply to most of our tests. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else on the test wise? Top GM badge, there's nothing new on that. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and see. Oh, team. We're working on a new secret project, It's it's just between you and me, okay? Just me and you, and anyone else who watches this, and anyone else who you tell about this. So it's going to be our secret. We're working on Starter Set 2.0. So raise your hand if you don't know what Starter Set 1.0 was. Oh, and while you raise your hands, Nina asked a question. What happens when you finish a test? So when we finish a test, we it depends on the type of test. Some tests, we're doing the minimum viable product to see if we want to build more and then launch that as a product or as a feature, right? Sometimes the feature's already built and we can end the test and just roll out that feature. Sometimes we end the test and roll back the feature because it wasn't working very well. Okay. So I see a lot of hands who know what Starter Set is. If you don't, I'm going to tell you right now, Starter Set was a feature that we built to help who we call D&D Dannies. D&D Dannies, she, he, they, them, they want to play Dungeons & Dragons. They want to play tabletop role-playing games, but they have no idea where to start. In fact, most of the site is a little overwhelming to them, because they'll read through an adventure and they're like, this is way too complex for me. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this means. I don't know what a pre-gen is, right? And it's things like that sometimes where GMs don't understand certain terminology is still off-putting to a brand new player. Now, I know a lot of amazing GMs love introducing new players to the game. I love introducing new players to the game because you get to see that light bulb moment, right? That beautiful, like, oh, I get it. This game's amazing. Well, the problem is, it's really hard for those people to use the site in a meaningful way or find games that they feel confident in joining and being able to play. So we did this feature, which was a kind of a quiz to results, where you'd answer a few questions and it would put you with a game and a game master saying this is going to be the perfect game for you. And it did really well. Except what we noticed is the funnel, only the actual quiz to result, only resulted in 30% of the people who signed up to Starter Set games went through that funnel. The other 60% signed up on search. So these people were going to search, but the game listings had been controlled by us to some degree. The game template itself had a lot of limitations to how long it could be, price, description, a number of other things. What we realized is that limitation led to an increase in bookings for this specific type of customer. This type of customer, we did a bunch of research. We interviewed probably over 100 people that fit this category of customer, the D&D Danny. And for the sake, we're going to say D&D Danny. She's 29, has always wanted to get into D&D, but doesn't know where to start. And in fact, they also don't know there's other tabletop RPGs, but they know they want to play D&D. They want this fantasy game. So we then created a standardized template. It didn't work as well because it only worked for search, and we couldn't match demand and supply at the same time, because a GM might be interested, they roll it out, right? Then they get some players, and then they're no longer running Starter Set games, and we kind of continue to have to say, like, hey, schedule some new games, get new games up. And GMs would, and then, so the problem was supply was really elastic, right? Or we would have to make supply elastic to be able to really deliver towards that demand. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating generic listings. These generic listings will be on a set of times. And now, mind you, we are probably 3 weeks to 4 weeks out before we're even into the beta of this. This is something that we're going to be testing again. These generic listings would be learn to play Dungeons & Dragons. You click it, it says, you know, you'll learn to play D&D, there'll be pre-generated characters. It's a really streamlined template that also has some limitations. Like, it could be any VTT as long as it's web-based, so they don't have to download anything. You got to use Discord, 2 hours max, or 2.5, I think is the max. A bunch of these things. Now, this generic listing will show up if no GM is running a Starter Set game at that time. So let's say Ash decides that they want to run a Starter Set game at 8 p.m. on Friday, and it's a one-shot. Well, right now, there's a generic listing up that StartPlaying has created, which is an 8 p.m. Starter Set game. if Ash makes an adventure for that time slot, our generic listing goes away. But if Ash fills up a game, we will go ahead and replace that with a new generic listing, unless another GM comes along and creates a game for that time slot. Now, what happens when someone books a generic listing? Well, we're going to have on the back end something akin to a bounty board. This bounty board, and mind you, this could all change as we're still going through development and deciding how this is going to work and how it's going to be built and how we're going to test it. It would say, hey, there are these 3 games that are happening that need a GM. You can go and claim it if you have that availability. If you're not running a game at that time, if you actually are able to run at that time, and then essentially it'll say, hey, you have a starter set template. This player wants to play at 7 p.m. You can click claim, and then you automatically generate a adventure for that time slot that puts that player from our generic listing into yours. So this will allow us to create generic listings that can then dynamically match with GMs who have that availability. The GM can choose to claim it. And once they do, it automatically creates that adventure off the template they already have created and puts that player in there. Then it emails that player, hey, your GM has this preparation material that you need to review. And then that will now also exist in search for other players to find. This is... This approach hopefully will help with the supply issue, right? Where you as a GM, you don't want to just throw out a bunch of games, right? But if someone's interested at a certain time, we want to be able to match you with that. And if you know that on Friday you want to run this game, go for it. But at the same time, we need to make sure we're filling in the holes. So we will have a generic listing unless an approved GM wants to run a game for that time slot. So this is Starter Set 2.0 that the team is currently working through. There's a bunch of things we're working through, but this is one of them. How do I join? I desperately need food. So once we are close to actually having this built, we will go ahead and start rolling it out to GMs. I think we'll probably roll out to 20 to 30% of GMs to start, and then go from there. Nightcrow says, what are the limitations for GMs? Some of them that I know already is the VTT must be a web-based VTT. It cannot be a VTT that you need to download. The game must be 2 to 2.5 hours max. I think the price has to be $15 to $20, something like that. Might be 15, might be 20. I think we're going to test either 15 and 20. What else? Pre-generated characters. You have to use the deck of player safety. That's some of it. There'll be some more, but it'll be like in a document that we'll share ahead of time. What are the quantity limiters per GM going to be on this test? If you claim, there's probably going to be something, if you claim a game and then you don't run it, we might just remove you from the active part of the test, because we want to only give these to GMs who actively can run it. So if you accept it and say like, oh, actually, like I accepted you, but I have another game on this time, you should join instead, you're out. You can't do that. By accepting it, you're saying, I'm going to run it at this time. Those are some of it, but we got to work through a lot more of that. Right now, we're working through like the logic flow of how we're going to build this and what this will look like. Right now, we've just done a design spike. Some of the other nitty gritty we're going to figure out over the next few weeks. Yeah, I mean, anything can be exploited in bad faith in this. But the thing is, the best GMs on the platform and those that want to succeed are going to put their best foot forward. And those who aren't, it's good that we find those people early, because then we'll know not to include them in this, I guess, privilege to have access to bounty boards. I think we might do run for at least one person, because the likelihood that you have a player that stays with you is really, really high if they in fact play on that first session they signed up for. So even if you're running for one person, your likelihood that you end up with a really long time player is really high. But I don't know yet. We're going to think about that. It will be, and it will have to be D&D 2024, because most new players that are looking to play D&D are thinking to themselves, I want to try the newest. I know a while ago you said the tests on which GMs have higher player retention. Oh yeah, I mean, the idea is actually to cycle out to GMs. So like if you have really high retention, you get to see the bounty board new request first, and then as it goes through, it kind of expands out to maybe folks who have lower site retention. Okay, I think that's all the questions you have around this. Is that right? Let's see. If you have more questions, just remember type question in all caps and then your question. Let's see. Autumn Unwin. It depends. It really depends on the publisher. If the publisher can retain enough interest, absolutely. If we see GMs be able to run with at least one player, absolutely. If not, we're probably looking at some other solutions for more niche games, which is going to be more akin to the OG bounty board, which people kind of put in the request and their build for it. It's like, oh, I have me and a table of 5 others. But first, we got to figure out like how do we serve the behemoth, and then move down from there. Bo DM, will there be European time slots? Yes, so there actually will be 12 time slots, so every other hour in a 24-hour time. Let's see. Bumblebot, any recommendations for GMs just starting to start playing? I got approved yesterday. Okay, take the onboarding, read the emails, read the 22 tips post, read like all the FAQ articles, take the webinars, all that stuff, and then read through GM advice, read through listing feedback. Don't post in listing feedback until you've read through it, because I see people post there all the time, and literally the other person who posted 2 hours earlier, all the advice that they're getting is advice that's also applicable to you. Those are fantastic places to start. This sounds like a new bounty board somewhere in the background. Blink twice if yes. Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing is, the bounty board saw like I'm one of the big things that I've wanted to do since taking over as the new CEO is focus on 2, 3, and 4x projects, right? Before, we were a lot of focus on these 10x things that could, increase the business tenfold. And while that's great, I want to focus on things that if I do 10 projects that are all increase the business by 1x, I can get there. And I think there's a lot of opportunities to tighten up a lot of different flows that might not be the core flow, but also including that can really impact the business for GMs. And that's also like how we've added scenario filters, a number of these other things. But the idea of custom requests, the idea of group bookings, the idea of serving the DDA, all these things kind of feed into the same thing as if we do a lot of stuff that has these small incremental improvements, they will add up to something very sizable. Okay, let's see. I need an onboarding. Yeah, that's the onboarding command. Okay, let us see. Okay. Workers in red. Let's see. Anything yet? Okay, cool. Let's see what other questions we got. Devin, please tell me StartPlaying will never go public. Drucker, it would be wild for us to go public, because like you think about it, right? Like a company that goes public is huge in size, huge. I mean, I think you have to go public at a certain point. I think if like maybe you have like 100 or like you have 1,000 employees, something like that. But I don't have plans to go public. I don't think it would be the right move. Before we would even think about going public, we would probably do a, what do you call it? Like a community round where people who have users of the account, GMs, can actually get shares in StartPlaying before we would go public, because we think that, like, you know, you helped build this. I think BackerKit did something like this, and we would probably do something similar, because if we were looking to do like a cash infusion, or we saw that there was an opportunity, we probably want to look at doing something like that with our GMs first before we even explore going public. But I don't have any plans to go public. Okay. Let's see, what do we got next? If you got no more questions, I'll go ahead and read some of the questions from our anonymous question box. Timmy asks, let's see, what does Timmy asks? We've seen an uptick in spam messages. How is StartPlaying going to handle that? Great question, Timmy, especially because of the last 2 days. There's always spammies out there. There's always spammers. The thing is, there's not one thing you do to deal with spammers. It is a constant fight. And that's why I'm glad we have such a fantastic technical team. It's another thing that really separates us from other people who are trying to break into the space is we have a fantastic technical team, a fantastic CX team. Hunter is just like an eagle eye with these people. I would tell you some of the things that we are putting in place to prevent bad actors, but if I did, I'd also be telling the bad actors how to get around it. So I can't go into details, but we are, like every few months we have to add some new protection or steps because with AI, scammers and fraudsters are being able to be really high volume at whatever they're attempting. And so we have to continue to find ways to combat that because it's an arms race, and it always will be, and it always has been. But we implemented some stuff yesterday and some stuff today, and we're gonna do some new things next week. So really exciting. I got another question in the inbox, but we got one from Nina. I was searching how many GMs have a Spanish language filter on, and we're a lot more than I thought we'd be. We should maybe focus on adding GM language to search templates. GM language is on the search template. It's testing right now, Nina. And we're testing to see 7 different filters. And we're testing to see the impact of those different filters. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh yeah, the other question. Timmy, I hope that answered your question. Glambard asks, how can we help StartPlaying? Is there an ambassador program or something that can be done to help the community generally? There's some really cool things you could do. Nina, it's testing right now, is what I was saying. You can do that when searching. At game search, you can search by language right now in the test. You might not be in the test because you're a GM and it's only there's 7 tests running on search right now, and so it's one of the 7. But Glambard, what can you do if you want to help the StartPlaying community? Be a voice of it. When you're a great GM and you're part of the StartPlaying community, people see that and they say, "Oh my gosh, the GMs there are great. They're welcoming, they're kind. That kind of stuff is fantastic." I see a lot of GMs. I see a lot of players just on Reddit. I'll sometimes go to Reddit, search StartPlaying, and then look at comments. And I see so many people suggesting StartPlaying, talking about their own experience with StartPlaying. That stuff is invaluable. Same if you see our ads anywhere, commenting your experience or just like that you like the ad or any of that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff helps organic distribution a lot on our ads. And that kind of content on the ad really feeds back and kind of like lowers the customer acquisition costs on those ads. So that's fantastic. Oh, we've been doing some new stuff on ads too. We've been doing creator collab ads. So creators that we've been working with, we've actually been promoting the collaborated post. So it shows their username and ours. And we're seeing that being really helpful in keeping our CAC down, which is our customer acquisition cost, CAC. So those are some great ways you can be a good ambassador to StartPlaying. Bumblebot, any advice for GMs that want to run games outside of D&D 5e? I'm very interested in the Bevy of system. Take the onboarding, read the 22 D&D tips, read the GM advice channel, and read the game listing advice channel. Those are some of the best ways to figure out how to get started, especially if you're not going to be running D&D 5e as you kick off. Are there plans for more intensive vetting for prospective GMs? We might continue to change the application as we have. We've made edits to the application ever since we launched it. But right now, the way it's working and the way we see what GMs rise to the top, the cream of the crop, if you will, has been working pretty effectively. But there's always, there's always going to be improvements made continuously. Is StartPlaying Reddit account yours? I don't know if it's that exact. one, but it is called StartPlaying. It used to be called Garl the Bugbear because that was one of my characters' name. But I thought I had to when I went to set up our advertising account, the account is set up under whatever Reddit account you have. And I thought like on Facebook, I can set up an ad account, but it doesn't have to be under Devin Trulick. And so when I made it, it is a Garl the Bugbear account. So then I had it verified through the paperwork. And so then I essentially lost my Reddit account because I had to change it to StartPlaying. But that's where all my karma is. And yeah, so I still post Shadow Dark stuff under that subreddit or under that handle. Mike D20, when we hear more about Wizard staffing, if Wizard staffing reaches out to you, I pass along the GM list. They're reviewing it. They're going to invite some GMs. We're going to do this really cool event in Chicago. I'm really excited. As we kind of explore, essentially we're doing some research on in-person. And we're starting out with some of these odd tests, and just to get some groundwork of data that we can use in 2026 when we launch in-person gaming as a service on StartPlaying. How long does it take for a game template to be approved? Also answering the onboarding. It takes 24 to 48 hours. And if it says waiting approval, it's still waiting approval. It says pending, it's because you have to also take the onboarding to learn about pending in active games, because pending and active are different than awaiting approval. Tian, okay. Question, how many sessions do you recommend long campaigns to be? How much of a commitment do players really want to make? How much of a commitment do you want to make? That's the question. Do you like a month-long campaign? 2 months? 3 months? Me? We're friends forever. This campaign's going to last until we die. No. It's really what you want to run, and make that clear. Because if you want to run a forever campaign, then let that be known. Because the people that want that are going to join your game. The advice I'll always say is run how you want to play. If you want to play an old school rules-inspired system, then do that. Because the people that like that system are going to join your game. But if you don't like this, weirdo, I mean, not this, but there's something you don't like and you run it, it's going to be clear that you don't like it to the people who play. And they're not going to want to play with you. So think about how you want to run your games and what makes you happy. And that's what I recommend doing. Any news on play-by-post? I remember there was a test or something. Yeah, the test confirmed that we didn't see a drop in purchases when we separated out play-by-post from campaigns. And so now we're building in a separate template creation flow for play-by-post. We're doing some research on the player side and some GM side to further give us some further insights and some overhaul onto play-by-post. Let's see. Listen, old school, I didn't kill your character. The dice did that. I didn't do that. That's not on me. Don't put that evil on me, because I didn't do shit. I didn't do shit. That's the dice. Okay. Everything else I could talk about are stuff that we've already done. We're launching the cutoff time. We're Save Games is testing. James RPG should be launching next week, which is part of the GM Loop program. GM notifications, we're making some changes so you can actually choose what GM you want to be emailed about, and others you just want to follow. So you don't have to get notified by a GM if you just want to follow that GM, and you can also follow that GM and get notified by that GM. But if you don't want to be notified by that GM, you don't have to be notified by that GM and just follow that GM. What's your favorite dinosaur? Gosh, that's a hard question. There's so many dinosaurs. I would say I really like pterodactyls because they're just so terrifying. Is StartPlaying Games going to PAX U this year? Game Date. Yes, I will be there. I think Hunter's also going. I think it's going to be us. Yeah. How is the baby and doggo? Are you sleeping enough hours? Taking care of yourself is part of the work. I was up very early today. I was up very early. And it was very hard to go back to sleep, and I didn't. But that nugget is so worth it. Oh my gosh. Oh, that kid's so cute. And my dog is amazing. I love them. They're great. They're amazing. Thank you for asking. Melania, how's stuff with kids' RPG stuff? How are the interviews been going? So I'm actually not leading any of the interviews. Our wonderful ops manager is doing that, and she's talking to a bunch of GMs. And essentially, we're just our ops manager did so much research, and there's so much compliance stuff that has been figured out, a lot of things. But right now, we're just trying to find out if there's any blind spots and things that we're not thinking about. And so interviewing a lot of GMs who've been in the space is helping with that, especially those have been like at Outschool or other organizations that run games for kids. Pterodactyls are not dinosaurs. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I have to pick a different dinosaur. I forget what they're called, but they have the turtle back and they have the spiked tail, the ball spiked tail. I like them. Weird. I thought pterodactyls were dinosaurs. They're in Jurassic Park. Ankylosaurus. Yes, thank you. That's how you can tell I'm how old I am, because like the older you get, the less you remember all the dinosaur facts. Maybe it's just me. I remember I had so many facts when I was a kid. Ugh. Yeah, we're talking about ground dinosaurs. That's the ground dinosaur I like the most. Let's see. Let's see. Is there anything else that's interesting to talk about? Let me go ahead. Oh, we're doing a nice little overhaul to the referral flow. We're going to be testing something that allows, this is, remember, this isn't like a thing that's going to happen. It's a thing we're testing. We're going to try to see out what it looks like. But you can refer someone to the site, and it's a single link that is your adventure with the referral built into it. So they click the link. It's like, hey, get $10 off your first game with so-and-so, or, Dungeon Master Shidness. And I click sign up, and then it puts me right on their game page. Right now, if you want to do that referral flow, you have to say, hey, join and get my referral for $10 off, and then go and join my game. We're trying to make that a single step, see if that helps, or see if that increases the likelihood of converting someone who signs up via referral. So that's something we're also working on. Nightcrow, they can use it immediately. Question: your favorite systems as a GM? There's so many. I mean, I feel blessed that I get to play so many different games. And if I want to play something that I haven't played, I could just go play it on StartPlaying, which is also amazing. But I would say my current favorite is Shadowdark. I love Shadowdark so much. I felt like I was playing D&D again for the first time when I first played it. I just ran a great game of Mothership last week. Love Monster of the Week. I got Triangle Agency over there. I can't wait to pop that open. 5e will always have a special place in my heart because I've made so many memories with 5e, and I've made some memories with 3.5 and 3. I also was so enchanted with 2e, but I never got to play it. I just got to look at all the books. But yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite child. Is the team in need of more support goblins? I just updated my CV. Not currently, but hopefully in 2026 when we expand to in-person, we expand to kids, that will also be needing to expand our support team. Is the issue with SP Stripe being unable to update tax info still going on? I got an email the other day and haven't been able to do it. Yes, and we do these really, really early so that if problems like this happen, we can go ahead and we have the time to address it rather than a scramble to try and address everything, January 28th. But yeah, and it's one of those things where Stripe has updated two things and the previous thing doesn't work with the new thing. And so they're walking through some solutions for us that we will communicate to the GMs once they've rolled that out. Let's see. Any other questions? We got 13 minutes left. Oh no, we got 23 minutes. We got so much time. Whatever questions y'all have. While you all think of a question, I'm gonna get my coffee. Okay. Once you've verified in the Discord, aside from the onboarding steps and the lists you mentioned to look at, what should a new GM do there? Read the listing feedback and read the GM advice. And then keep your eyes out for webinars. The webinars should probably be back in October. Also, play with a top GM. Play with a GM who's run a few hundred games on the site. It's going to show you. When you play a game as a game master or dungeon master, and you play with a different GM, right? And you might see, oh my gosh, I love how they did that. I'm going to steal that and add it to my games. Or they do something and you're like, ooh, I do the same thing that they're doing, but when I do it, I'm a GM. But as a player, I kind of hate it. I'm going to stop doing that in my games. A great GM sees these things anytime they play with a different GM. The same thing is applied to being a pro GM, except it's not the gameplay. It's the customer service. It's how someone's welcomed. It's how icebreakers are done. It's how things are communicated. Playing with other amazing GMs on StartPlaying is a great way to get insight in how you could level up. Let's see. If you don't have the money for it, there's so many other resources. Like you can spend 6 hours reading all the Discord messages on listing advice. You get great advice. You can keep asking me what's the best thing to do, but all that stuff is right in front of you right now. Read those tips, read those emails that come out to you, and read that listing advice and that GM advice. And I'd say like if you don't have the money to join in a one-shot with a pro DM, and then start putting that energy towards consuming this information. Any new merch coming? Any new merch coming? Do I have any new merch coming? Gosh, I wish I had the mock-up. But yes, there's new merch coming. It's really sick. There's actually too much merch coming. We have too much merch coming. There's so many designs. And I'm like, should I release it all at once? Should we do it bit by bit? But there's a lot of stuff coming. I'm really excited. Let's see. I know the statistics say that only 1 in 11 players who sign up for a free game later sign up for a paid game with that GM, but I found great success with free one-shots if they learn to play. That's actually great. I've talked about that a bunch, Tian. Is it Tian or Tian or Tian? So I've kind of amended that statement a month or two ago because we did a test, and the test is we sent 50 people a starter set box, and the other 50 people we put in a game with a GM on StartPlaying in a learn to play one-shot session, similar to the starter set games I was talking about earlier. We noticed that the people who played with a GM were much more likely to still be playing on StartPlaying or be playing in general, or also go and purchase D&D goods. I don't think this extends past D&D with the likelihood of how highly it converts, but the assumption is, and the hypothesis is that people who want to play D&D don't understand how much they would pay for it until they understand what it is. There's another set of players that say, I don't want to pay for you until I know how good you are. And I don't think those people often convert into paying players. I think the people who have never played before are the best people to run a game for free in an attempt to make them a paid player, because they're brand new and they don't understand that this is something that they're going to love so much and that it makes sense to pay for it. Now, why do I think this only works with D&D? I think it's because a lot of people who are going to be interested in this hobby only know about D&D. And I think if you run, hey, learn to play Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's a lot of people in the tabletop RPG hobby that want to learn that game, but aren't interested in paying. And so they will join, but they're not new to TTRPGs. They're just new to Avatar. And the people who are not new to TTRPGs don't want to learn to play D&D one-shot for the most part, right? They're like, I already know how to play it, so why would I want to do that? So that's why I think D&D specifically works in this special place for running free learn to play one-shots. We are going to run a test probably in maybe end of October, maybe November, about learn to play and see how it does, or we might wait for the new year. Okay. Yes, Girly Pop. Girly Pop is the merch. And then there's some other merch too. Some merch I forgot about. I forgot about some merch. Phoenix. Question. If being invited to run an in-person game, can I send them to SVG to book them at this time, or does that need to wait? No, you can do it now. We just don't have a lot of tools that help optimize that, but there is, I think around like 6% of GMs use us for their in-person solution. It's like Diane with a T. Tyann. Oh, thank you. That helps. Okay. Okay. All right. Pretty exciting. Oop, lost my book. I am. I don't know how we're gonna make some SPG merch. We want to make. We made this. We're gonna make some just cool little Magic the Gathering mats. You know, little play mats. We want to kind of do stuff like that, but we don't have like a start playing like party. You know, like like D&D has like their like not diegetic party, but like, you know, the kind of party that represents the different characters. Start Playing could use something like that. I also want to do like some cyberpunk swag or merch soon. But sorry, I digress. Okay. Yeah, they're iconics. Yeah. Y'all, if that's it, if you have no more questions, I think we can call it. We'll hang out another 5 minutes and wrap up any other questions, unless we get like a flurry of more. But any general questions you have right now, this is the time. Of course, Eric. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to answer these questions. Let's see. Devin, send me a list of the team's favorite classes, species, and I'll gift you the art if you gift me one hoodie. Oh my gosh, that's so kind. I think we could do that. I think we could absolutely do that. What other stuff do we have going on? We're still hiring a full stack software engineer. So if you are a full stack or you know a full stack, introduce them to me. Let's see. Ooh. Get a coffee, take a break, or power nap. Enjoy life. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Punny in Action. Dungeon Am? Is it Dungeon Am or Dungeon AM? I'd be so down to buy shares and start playing. Yeah, you know, I've talked with the rest of the founding team too about this, and like we really do feel like if we were in the right position, that it would make a lot of sense, because we would love our community to be part of that. And so I don't think that's totally out of the question in the future of Start Playing. Let's see. I guess I actually do have I do maybe I can show you a bit of art. If I just sit here long enough, I just start like sharing things. Let's see. Medusa? Let's see. There we go. Can you see that? It's kind of cool, right? That's something. Oh, questions. Wonderful. How to get an SPG sponsorship? Have a nice size audience, make authentic content that comes across one of our team's pages that kind of handles a lot of that, and then we'll reach out. Or you can send an email saying like, hey, I think I have some good content. Go ahead and I want a sponsorship. Will you need software QA people at some point? I mean, hopefully at some point we get big enough that we need that. But when you're a company our size, it's it's not necessarily something we can bring on. And that's because we try to stay very lean and hire as necessary. Running homebrew systems. A lot of people don't want to play homebrew systems. A lot of people like homebrew, like custom content in their games, but a lot of people don't want to play a homebrew system. They like to play a system with when you add homebrew. But if you're like, oh, I've made this game myself, not a lot of people are that interested in that. It's a really, really small niche of people. And so if you're just starting out, I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend building out a community of players and then inviting them to play test your homebrew systems. Yeah, you just reach out via email. Nico DeGallo. Okay. I guess we did it, team. We did it. Congratulations. That's one more office hours for the books. We'll be back in another 2 weeks for the next office hours. In the meantime, I will see all of you wonderful people in the Discord. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I hope you run all the games. Bye, y'all.
Grab your rogue friend, a ranger, and some casters. Time to roll, have a good time, but don't burn down the tavern. Let's burn down the tavern. Time for total party chill. There's a critical hit, critical fail. Forge ahead, see that dragon, we can slay it. We'll level up all night till we get to that big bad evil guy. Time to roll, have a good time, but don't burn down the tavern. Let's burn down the tavern. Time for total party chill. There's a critical hit, critical fail. Forge ahead, see that dragon, we can slay it.